Hello, Algebra. Today we're doing bubble method, day 3, factoring polynomials with leading coefficient greater than 1 and then negative constant. So we're going to get started on that. A nice review is that we're going to identify the sum. Remember, that's that middle coefficient, and the signs you're going to need, that's that last plus or minus. List all the factor pairs of the leading coefficient and list all the factor pairs of the constant. Check bubbles to figure out the correct combination. Write your answer as 2 binomials. Okay, so here our sum needed is that middle term, that's 6. Our signs here, that tells us it's going to be negative, positive, different signs. And this one up here tells me the bigger number is going to be positive. Okay, so factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Factors of 1, and we know they're going to have different signs. They're going to be 1 and 1, so one of those gets to be negative. And then we're going to test these out and see how we multiply. Well, since we know the bigger number has to be positive, we know the 7 really belongs with that positive 1. So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times negative, or 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, which gives me a positive 6. So I know that's the way this is going to have to pair out. Remember, when we do this, we write it with our leading coefficients, which are the first bubble, x, 7x. Okay, and then one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative. The ones that are drawn with the line with it, remember, they cannot be in the same bubble. So since the 1 is with this 1x, it means the negative one has to go back here. And the positive 1 is with the 7, it means it has to go up front. So you know that this is going to be our 2 binomials that multiply to get us this polynomial. Okay, we're going to try again. So now we have our sum of negative 9. We see that this tells us we're going to have different signs. So we're going to have one positive, one negative. And this one tells us the bigger number is going to be negative. So factors of 2 are 1 and 2. Factors of 81. So 81. We 1 and 81. 2 doesn't go into it. 3 does. Let's just double check to make sure before I tell you specifically. I think it's 3 and 27, but I want to make sure. Yep, 3 and 27. 4 doesn't go into it. 5 doesn't go into it. 6 does not go into it. 7 does not go into it. 8 does not go into it, but 9 does. Okay, so we know that we need to be where the bigger number is negative. So we're going to put the negative signs, in this case, with our bigger numbers. And then we're going to test these out. So I'm going to bring this up here. 1 and negative 81. We know it needs to go to 9. No matter how I pair this up, the 1 and the 1 or the 1 and the negative 81, you're going to end up with a negative 81. That's going to be huge. We know that this is not going to be a good choice for us. So let's try another one. 3 and negative 27. We know if we multiply the 2 to the negative 27, we're going to end up with a big negative, like 54. So let's try doing the 1 in the negative 27, 1 and negative 27 plus 3 and 2, which is 6. Gives me negative 21. Still too big. Okay. And then our last one is 9 and negative 9. And these are the same, so we can just try them out. So 1 times 9 is 9, plus 2 times 9 is going to be negative 18, which gives me that negative 9. If you would have done it the other way, where it was 1 times the negative 9 and 2 times the other 9, you would have ended up with a positive 9, which would not have been what we were looking for. So again, the first ones are these, the leading coefficients in each binomial. So it's going to be 1x in our first one, 2x in our second one. Remember that they cannot touch, so if they're joined by the line, they can't be in the same group. So the 1 is with the positive 9, so that means the positive 9 has to go in the other parentheses. The 2 is with the negative 9, so that means it has to go in the other parentheses. We talked about this last week where you can check it by the smile. So the ones are connected with a line. If you connect it with a line, you get a nose. Connect it with a line, you get a smile. Kind of looks like a reverse upside down rainbow. So now that we saw those two, we're going to try this again. So again, the sum needed is the one in the middle, so that's 14. This tells us different signs because that's what a subtraction sign means there. Diff signs. This tells us bigger number, positive. So you're going to need plus, minus. So we're going to do our factors here. So 3 is 1 and 3. 49. Factors of 49 are 1 and 49. And 7 and 7. The bigger number is going to be negative. So is 1 times 3 going to create the bigger number, or 1 times 49, or 3 times 49? Well, either way we look at it, we know that the negative number would be with the 49 because that's our biggest number. And then here again, we can put it with one of the 7s because they're the same. So I'm going to bring this up here. 7, negative 7. We're going to test it out. So if we did 1 times 7, that gives me 7, plus 3 times negative 7, that gives me 7, 14, 21, negative 21. We add those together and we get negative 14. Is that what we were looking for? Nope. We wanted our negative with our positive number. So I'm sorry, guys. Let's flip that again. So these negatives on here on 49 should actually be switched. Sorry, I was still on the last problem in my mind. That should be switched with up here. So I'll leave that in red so you can see it. The 7s, it doesn't really matter. But even with that, 149 minus 3 would still not give me 14. So we're going to switch to this one up and see if we did a different connection, if it would give us one that would work better. So instead we're going to do 1 times negative 7. 1 times negative 7 gives me negative 7, plus 3 times 7, which is 21, which gives me negative positive 14, which is what I'm looking for. So again, we have 2 sets of parentheses. These are our leading coefficients. So we have 1x, you could just put x, and 3x. We know the ones that are joined by the line cannot be in the same group. So the 1 is joined by the negative 7, so that means the negative 7 has to go with the 3. And the 3 is joined by the 7, so that means the 7 has to go with the 1. Again, you could try that smiley face. If you redraw the lines to connect them, you should end up with that reverse smiley face. Okay, so this will be our last one for today. So our sum needed here is 3. We see here that this means different signs. This tells me bigger number, positive. Okay, so that means we're going to have a plus and a minus. So our bubbles are going to be 2, so 2 and 1. Over here, 27. We have 1 and 27, 2, 3, and 9. I believe that's all of our factors of 27. So our bigger number is going to be positive here. In each of these cases, our bigger number is significantly bigger than the other number. So we're going to put the negatives with the smaller numbers. And then we're going to test them out. So let's do the negative 3 and 9. I think that's going to get us there quicker because we're looking for 3, which is a much smaller number. So let's try 2 times 9. Well, 2 times 9 is 18. Plus, and then we have 3 times 1, negative 3, which gives me 15. Well, that didn't work out, so let's try our other way. I'm going to erase these. We'll see if it matches or if we can find a better match. 1 times 9 is 9, plus 2 times 3, negative 6. That gives me a positive 3, so that's my winner. So over here, you have our parentheses. You have 2x. You have 1x. And then we're going to put in our values that go with it. So with the ones that are connected by a line can't be in the same set of parentheses. So 2, negative 3 can't be in the same set. So that means negative 3 has to be over here. 1 and 9 can't be in the same set. That means that 9 has to be over here. And this is our binomial. Okay, please be trying these, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.